Hello, everyone. Welcome to Kiki and Kibitz. It's me, Mary, and I'm coming here today with a very special 90 Day Fiancé interview. You guys may remember Clayton from season 10, and I would like to welcome you. Finally, it's taken us a little bit to get together, but thank you so much for finally joining me. And
Yep.
how are you?
I'm doing good. Good. Life's great. Life's great.
We just
After the show's been great.
We just
Um,
saw your episode of 90 Day Diaries, so we got to catch up with you a little
yeah,
bit after not
I'm
seeing you and Amanda Lee for a bit. We got to catch up with you guys, so that was nice.
yeah, I'm actually really happy with that episode. I mean, I can always complain about something, but the episode wasn't too bad. I liked it.
Cool. We're going to talk about that in a bit. My first
Sure.
question, though, is whose idea was it to sign up for 90 Day Fiancé?
So, it was my idea. I had been asked multiple times by like friends and family, like because obviously we had a 90-day story, right?
Right.
And they're like, you should go try out for 90 Day Fiance, and we kind of just blew it off for a while. But one time I was just like, okay, I had no expectation of getting on this show. It's like they have 1,000 applicants per season, at least several hundred.
Right.
And I had no expectation, but I went for it, and it obviously worked out. But it was my idea.
Were you a big reality TV show fan before?
Not really. I was big into reality TV, probably like I'll say when I was around like 2021. So what's that, like 12 years ago or
Right.
so. I used to really like Operation Repo, which is like a
Yes, yes.
yeah, just like they would repossess cars. I always liked those, like the towing and repo shows. I don't know why.
Like Boat
Um,
Wars too.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
one
I
of
like
my
those type
favorites.
of shows,
Yeah.
but and then I found out that I don't know how I found out, but I found out some of it was staged, and it was kind of like ruined for me. It was kind of like finding out my Uncle Donnie was actually Santa Claus when I was 9 years old. So I was like, I don't know if I can watch
Yeah,
that
I know
anymore.
exactly.
So
So,
yeah, it was heartbreaking to realize that, and I'm surprised I was that old before I realized that Operation Repo was staged. But yeah,
how surreal was it to see your love story play out on national TV?
it was odd. I really liked it though. It was cool. It's cool to be able to. I mean, you're watching network television and there's your face. It's like it's still crazy to me, really. I'm more used to it now, but it was surreal, but I liked it. I know some people don't watch their story, but I liked it. I really liked it.
So, what did Manali think about watching herself on TV?
You know, she even now, even with the Diaries episode, I don't know if I want to call it like nervous, but she had a hard time watching it. At first, I don't think she minded it at first. I think she was okay, but as time went on, then the social media comments start rolling in, and you start getting used to a mix of positive and negative. We obviously had a lot of negatives on both of our
Right.
sides, but
Yeah, I know. Unfortunately.
yeah, she can handle it, but not as much as I can. I'll clap back at people. I probably shouldn't do that, but
Right.
she kind of just
Nature.
shutters down and doesn't want to watch, doesn't want to know anything about it. But yeah, it's surreal again, but uh, she she liked it at first, but I think she eventually didn't. Is what I'm trying to get at.
Right. So there are dog people and there are cat people. You are a guinea pig person. How did you
That's true.
find yourself drawn to guinea pigs?
I accidentally came across some guinea pigs actually. So I was with a now ex, obviously an ex, many years ago. I'll say 7, 8 years ago. We were together. She got a guinea pig. We had him for I don't know, a few weeks or a month or so, and then we got a second guinea pig. Eventually we, broke up, fell apart and whatnot. She didn't want to take care of the pigs anymore, so she's like, "Hey, do you want these guinea pigs, otherwise I'm giving them up for adoption or giving them away or something. And I'm like,
So you got
yeah, I mean, I
custody.
really love the guinea pigs. I, petted them, played with them, and all that. So even though they were her idea, I was eventually both of their owners. And these are two different guinea pigs, by the way. It wasn't baby pig and chocolate. Both of those guinea pigs I talked about, they passed away a few years ago now, but um, accidentally came across my love of guinea pigs.
So as we've seen on Diaries, the guinea pigs got a upgrade in their
Yep.
living space. That is so cool. And has Annalie grown to become more fond of the pets?
I think so. Yeah, she doesn't love them as much as I do, of course. I mean, they're
Right.
mine, but she has been more playful with them, not too much, but she's like made a couple of videos of them, just not hasn't posted them, but just like TikTok style videos, and she sent them to me. But so more so than before, more so than the beginning, but she's still not an animal person. Like she could do without having animals the rest of her life, and
Right.
I
And
probably couldn't.
there's nothing wrong with that. There's some people
No,
that are just not
yeah.
animal
It's
people.
different. I think it's a cultural thing. Like, of course, they have pets in Peru, but they they don't really keep domestic animals as much as we do in the U.S.
Right. So, you mentioned the social media feedback.
Mhm.
How do you deal with it? You mentioned clapping back. Um, how do you deal with the social media blowback that you guys got?
Um, I'll just, speak for myself. So first of all, the show recommends that you not read the comments. I read the comments before, our story ever aired. Of course, I looked through, previous seasons and seen how the general public talks about or talks to the cast members. Not good, not very
Oh,
good.
you
But
were
what I
preparing
noticed was,
yourself. That was actually a smart idea because a lot of people go into this experience blind.
yeah. But the thing is, like, even though you know that the fan base is not often great. It's hit and miss. I mean, you have some couples, I don't want to name any couples, but some are generally regarded as better than others. So you'll see their comments all really, lovey and positive aside from some random ones. And then you have the really like universally hated ones. Think about, oh, I'll name these ones, Ed, Angela, Jasmine, people that get talked about pretty badly most of the time.
Right.
You never know which side you're gonna be on, right? Because we're not in control of the editing. We don't know what our storyline's gonna look like to everyone, how it's gonna be perceived by everyone. But I did want to get an idea of what I could be facing, by reading some older comments from other couples. So that's how I prepared for it. But the show, again, to get back from my digression, they recommend that you not read the comments. I ignored that advice. I found it to be pretty entertaining at first. It gets old. It gets old after a while. After a couple of months, it loses its novelty, and I'm just like, you guys suck, man. Like, do you have nothing better to do than to just do this little negative echo chamber?
Right.
Um, and I think that them recommending, and by them I mean the show, they recommend you not read the comments, but I think that's kind of just some self-awareness of their fan base. I don't know if they curated it this way or if it just happened to be this way, but there's a lot of toxicity, and it's not like that with all reality TV shows. Like you look at a show, for example, Love on the Spectrum. Do you watch that show, by the way?
Yes, they do. Yes.
Yeah, so generally the comments tend to be positive, right? Like they're really rooting for these people, and
Right.
um but it has nothing. You would think that it's like, oh, because they're autistic, right? Because they're not like all they miss out on like social cues and stuff like
Right.
that. So it's not that though, because we've had many autistic people on 90 Day Fiance, and they get
And like
dragged
a
just
torn
like any
apart.
other.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
So it's certainly not the cast members themselves, because we've had autistic people and they get dragged just the same, right? So I love the fan base. I really do. There's a lot of great people, but tens of millions of fans of the show globally, and you're gonna have some good and bad people in there.
Right. Exactly. So let's talk about your move to Tulsa. How are
Okay.
things in Tulsa? How's your new house? Just how are
You
things
know,
in general?
I love Tulsa. I really loved Lexington, Lexington, Kentucky. That's where we filmed in. That's where I lived most of my adult life, some of my childhood there as well. But I made the move to Tulsa, kind of. I don't know. I just wanted something new, like after being on the show, I was definitely wanting something new. I had already been in the process of likely moving to Tulsa before the show actually started getting filmed, but that kind of solidified it for me. I was like, fresh start, just new everything. Gonna be on, TV, that's new. Wanting to move somewhere else, that's new. We kind of took a chance on it, but it turned out really great. I love Tulsa. I don't know if I'll be here forever. I think comedy will probably take me elsewhere in the country. It'll be several years from now, I'm sure, but um, for now, I really like it. I've got a lot of really supportive friends here. Friend group's really good. Just overall like it. I give it a 9.5 out of 10. I really love
That
this
is
place.
great. So how's your mom doing?
Mom's doing good. I think it's new for her. Obviously, she's had her own place before the show as well. Like we didn't always live together, right? For the period of time we filmed, she was there about 3 years. But prior to that, she had her own place. But it's just new for her, I guess, because we had lived together for about 3 years for the show. Um, or at the place that got filmed rather, and so it's taken her some getting used to be back on her own again. But I think she likes Tulsa, but she wants to move somewhere else, basically. She where she's at right now isn't really close to any stores that she wants to go to, or she always needs a ride here, ride there. So it's not as independent for her as both of us would like. So she may I don't know. She might move back to Kentucky at some point. We haven't really talked about it, but that's my personal opinion. I think she would rather be back, to her home and be around our family because we have no family here. We know nobody here. We never been to Oklahoma before we moved here, and she she probably wants to be around more people than just me.
I mean, um, so what do you do for work, Clayton?
So I'm kind of in between job titles right now. So I'll back up a little bit. Whenever I was filming, I was a junior cyber analyst,
Okay.
and after we moved to Tulsa, I got at a different company. I got a promotion. Well, I shouldn't say promotion. I moved up. Now I'm a senior cyber analyst at a different company, but I recently got promoted to cyber engineer.
Oh,
That has not fully went through with HR, but it has been approved. It's kind of just slow HR process. So I imagine within the next month or two, hopefully that'll be official. But I'm doing some engineering work now, as well as analyst work.
congratulations.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Cool. So at the time when you were filming, your co-workers at the time, did they know that you were going to be on TV?
So I don't think so. I try to keep that really, really private, because in my field, I don't think I would have this problem, but you've probably heard of some cast members losing their job, some cast members losing their job 8, 10 times. Certain
Yes.
person has lost their job repeatedly over show-related things. So I try to keep that kind of on the down low, but I mean, you can Google my name and uh, find me pretty easily. So
Right, exactly. 90 Day Fiance will be the first thing that pops up.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't Google my coworkers, so I kind of just hope that coworkers aren't just like,
And
"Hey, let
Google
me
too,
let me
right?
Google this guy for no apparent reason."
Right,
Um, but like whenever I was so like I had said, I was at a different job when I was filming.
right.
It had not been announced yet, but I had said something to one of my coworkers. He was actually my team lead at the time.
Okay.
We were talking about television, and I was like. Um, yeah, you should watch 90 Day Fiance, the next season of 90 Day Fiance, something like that. And he's like, "Why are you on it?" And I'm like, I didn't expect him to ask that so directly, but I was like, it's like, well, if I was on it, I wouldn't be able to say, you know. He's like, "Oh, true." And I don't know if he ever looked me up or not, but
Right.
um, I do try to keep that separate. But um, I assume my job, not my coworkers, but I think my employer knows that I was on the show because whenever I was going through the recruiting process, it had got brought up for some like logical reason. I don't remember why, but the recruiter knew, so I assume that the company
Right.
knows.
Right, exactly. So, how about your friends and family? What was their reaction when you told them you were filming for 90 Day and that your wedding was going to be filmed for 90 Day?
So, overwhelmingly positive. I mean, I've got a pretty supportive family. I would say like one or two might have been surprised by the fact that we were, you know, sharing our story on TV. I remember one with my family members. He was like, "Man, I wouldn't do that if I were you." And I'm like, "Well, it's already like halfway done now, so I don't know what
Right.
you want me to do about it." But
I can't make it
overwhelmingly
now.
positive. It's cool, you know. It's cool. It's like, oh, my nephew or my whoever is going to be on TV. It's cool, right? So most of it was positive. But the wedding being filmed, honestly, I'm not happy with a lot of my family because some of them did not show up to my wedding. And I don't know if that was because of the filming, but I had invited several people. I shouldn't say several, I should say a handful. Some of them were like, oh, yeah, you know, we'll be there. And I send them the media release stuff that everyone has to sign, and they just didn't show up. And not really happy with them about that. But most people showed up. It was just a couple.
Right. That's messed up. Um,
Yeah, especially whenever I came to their
right,
town. I mean, at the time I lived in Kentucky, right? I came back to my hometown where most of my family, I think most of my family still lives there.
right.
And I'm like right in, it's a small town. I'm right next door essentially. And
Exactly. And you can't just sign a form and show up to the wedding.
yeah, I mean, maybe I shouldn't be so petty about it. Maybe I shouldn't let
No,
that affect me, but it
support
does.
you
I'm
and your
like,
pettiness on that. No, I support that pettiness because that's messed up.
yeah. Yep.
So let's turn to your passion for comedy.
Okay.
How are things going right now?
Comedy is doing really good. Actually, I was at the so first I'll tell you my main club in Tulsa, that's the Looney Bin. I'm really good with them. You know, first name basis with the owner and the manager there. I they're having me run a showcase. A showcase is essentially kind of like a special type of show, but I'm putting together a showcase right now. It hasn't been announced publicly yet, so I guess you can consider that exclusive information
Cool.
for you. But I'm going to be running a show there on July 2nd. I'll start advertising that here pretty soon. But they trusted me to run a show for them, and really happy about it. Going to be hosting, performing. Things are going really good right now. Like I'm ahead of where I should be for being barely like I'm like a year and 3 months into comedy, and uh I'm not like headliner, like national headliner type level by any means, but I am ahead of damn near everyone would be if they were at my like time frame, like a little over a year.
At the
So
time
happy
frame,
with it.
right? Were you that funny kid that was always cracking jokes?
You know, I wouldn't have classified myself as the class clown. That was a kid named Ronnie, one of my friends. He was
Okay.
actually at my wedding, by the way. Uh, Ronnie was the class clown. I wasn't the class clown. I would say funny stuff though. I was one of those people that was funny, not trying to be funny. You know, like I would just have some random quip, and people would crack up at it. Like I'll just one thing that pops into my mind. This isn't even really funny. I don't know why everyone thought this was funny, but we were talking about like math of some kind, like adding, subtracting something, and me and some friends were, you know, talking about that, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I can math." And everyone cracked up. All I said was, "I can math." Like, well, that's not even that funny, but the way I said it, I guess, was hilarious to everyone. So, I think I've naturally been accidentally funny, but was never like class clown type
Right.
person.
Do you see yourself quitting your job one day to pursue comedy full time?
Yes, I do actually. It's gonna be hard because of, what I do. I make good money. I think you could probably determine that by my job title, but there's a lot of money to be made in tech. It's
Right.
gonna be hard to leave that type of money behind because comedy's not that's not when you make a lot of money doing. You lose money for years, really. I've lost money doing comedy. I've made, here and there money for shows, but by the time I'm traveling and all that, it's really a loss. It's a loss for a few years,
Right.
and it's gonna be hard. But this is what I want to do eventually full time. But I'm probably looking at a 5, 10+ year time frame on that. But eventually, I will be doing only comedy.
Cool. So let's talk about your season for a little bit.
Okay.
On the tell-all, there was a little bit of drama. Okay, so
A little bit, a little bit.
Jasmine had one of her meltdowns, and
One of.
Annalie was so sweet, and she couldn't, and she, calmed her down, gave her a big hug, was being a friend, and then the next minute, Jasmine is yelling her head off at you. Tell me what happened from your perspective.
Yeah, so it's taking me back. That was filmed it was about a year and a half ago now. So I'm trying to remember exactly those details, but I do know that she did give her a hug, and whenever I saw that hug on TV, I was like, really? I'm probably jumping ahead a little bit here, but at this point, whenever I'm watching it, she had already like blocked us and whatnot. So I was like, I'm watching my wife give this snake a hug, and I'm like, it was so cringy to watch. But the yelling at me thing, honestly, I was kind of surprised about the situation with Jasmine because before I don't remember which part it was, but we were like in between scenes at some point, and she had told me like, hey, anything I say, don't take it seriously. And I was like, at first I didn't hear her, and I was like, what'd you say? It's like, yeah, anything I say, just don't take it seriously. So I took that as like, I mean, as she suggested, don't take it seriously. We're just having a good time, it's a
Right,
tell all.
right.
Trying to stir up drama is what I assumed, but I guess she took my words seriously, even though I thought we were kind of in this little mutual like, oh yeah, you're gonna say this and I'm gonna say that. It was kind of like an unspoken thing there, but I didn't take what she said seriously, but she took what I said seriously, apparently.
And that seems to be typical Jasmine. She could,
It does. I heard from one of her friends that she doesn't really like a lot of people, so.
yeah, that makes sense. So, now you mentioned after the tell-all aired, that's
Mhm.
when Jasmine actually blocked you guys. So instead of blocking you in real time when it happened, she waited for the tell-all to air.
Yeah, so that's actually the big issue. Well, the big issue is not that she blocked me, it was that she blocked Annalie because Annalie didn't say anything bad to her on the tell-all at all. And
Right,
after the tell-all, I've never talked bad about Jasmine, like privately, not that I can think of. No, because I liked everyone at the tell-all. I actually liked Jasmine at the tell-all. I thought she was, cool. We weren't friends or anything, but she was cool, I thought. And so whenever I found out, it was about, I want to say 3 months after the tell-all is when the clip started
right.
airing. And I think that I don't know. I have to make assumptions here, really. I think that she probably just didn't like the backlash from. I shouldn't say the backlash. She didn't like how it was being portrayed. Like me. What did I even say? She should have used the money on anger management. I think those clips were starting to go around, and I think she couldn't
Yes,
handle it,
yes.
and she decided to block me and Annalie at that time. What bothered me, like I'd mentioned, is that she blocked Annalie. She didn't do anything. They were friends. They DM'd each other. They hugged each other. They talked at the tell-all. It's like, were they close? Were they like this friends? No, but they talked several times, and
Right.
I remember. I think Jasmine had like sent her a selfie at some point. I'm trying to remember, but it was just like friendship,
Right.
right? It
It
was
was just
just
like a friendship. Yeah.
yeah. And so when she blocked Annalie, I'm like, all right, I
And
don't like people that do that. So of course I mentioned that she had blocked me as well, but I kind of dug into her for a couple of weeks because I didn't like that. Just didn't like it.
so, what do you think has been the biggest misconception about your relationship with Annalie?
It's hard to say like what the biggest misconception is because like if something is 100% false and something else is 100% false, they're both equally wrong, right? So like there have been a lot of wrong things that have been said about both of us and our relationship, but I think probably have to give you just like a status quo answer about like the misconception about her using me for a green card. I think that's just a typical thing that people say. When you hear about a foreign fiance coming here and whatnot. Oh, they just want the green card. They want to live in America, blah blah blah. I think that's probably the biggest
Right.
misconception.
Has
That's
there ever,
certainly not true. She wanted me to move to Peru, actually. I don't want to
really?
do
I
that.
didn't know that. She wanted you to move to Peru.
Yeah, yeah. She I don't remember at what point in our relationship, but we had talked about it. She was like, "Well, would you want to live here?" And I'm like, "Well, um at the time I actually could not. I worked remotely, but I worked for a company that you had to both be a US citizen and live within the lower 48 states. So you couldn't even live in like you had to get special permission if you wanted to live in Puerto Rico even. I mean, obviously Puerto
Right.
Ricans are US citizens, but you had to
Right.
get
Yeah.
special permission to work from there. I couldn't have moved to Peru if I wanted to.
Okay.
Um, so we had decided that she would come here. But yeah, the first thing was that she wanted me to move there, actually. So I would say that's a misconception.
So, what has been the craziest thing that you've seen on social media about yourself? Like you really
Oh,
want that? What the hell?
I don't even well, first off, I don't really even want to draw attention to that kind of thing because I don't know. I think
Right.
again with everything, if you read something that's wrong and you read something else that's wrong, they're both equally wrong. But I've seen some crazy stuff. I don't know if I want to say anything really. I've seen a lot of stuff. Seen a
Okay.
lot of stuff, and we're not
Okay.
talking about opinions. We're talking about like lies, like the moon is made out of green cheese type stuff. It's like that didn't happen. Like
Right.
I don't know. Wrong is wrong though.
Yeah, exactly. What advice do you have to a couple that is in a international relationship?
Don't get on 90 Day Fiance. That's serious though. It's
Right.
like um I would yeah, I would not go on the show. You're probably not gonna get on the show anyway, but I would not recommend going on there unless you've got a really, really strong relationship because this show will absolutely test you. Your insecurities are going to come out. Your just everything. I mean, so I wouldn't do that. But as far as standard advice, I don't know. You definitely have to make time for each other. There's nothing that I could say that anyone else couldn't say. Just make time for each other. You need to be in contact a lot because if you're living with someone or you're in the same city, you're probably seeing them multiple times a week. But if you're in a long distance relationship, you might only be seeing them once a year, couple times a year, once every 3 years.
Right.
You've got to really make time for each other. You've got to make time for those phone calls and those video calls, and you got to try to make up some of that connection that you would miss if you were like if you were in person,
Right.
you would have
Exactly.
these connections, but at a distance, you need to make up for that somehow.
Um, would you, how would you rate your experience on reality TV?
Um, Overall, pretty good. If I had to assign like a number to it, I would say like an 8 out of 10. Certainly worth it. I found the friendships made and the opportunities that have been open, some of them permanently opened. Like I'm always gonna have been on this popular TV show, which will help sell for shows and stuff like that. So that type of thing, it makes it worth it. But there's obviously some negatives to it because then there's going to be misconceptions from people that possibly won't ever die. I mean, 5 years from now, people will still be talking about, is his mom out of the closet yet? Blah, blah, blah. It's like she's had her own place for 7 years, you know?
Right,
Uh,
exactly.
there are
Yeah.
going to be things that are timeless that shouldn't be timeless. And so that draws it down a little bit. But overall, I think it was worth it. I would do it again if they wanted me on another show. I would certainly consider it. Um, oh yeah, 8 out of 10. I'll give it an 8 out of 10.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Are we in a job interview, Mary? Come on. No,
No.
I'm just kidding. No, 5 years from now, I'll probably still be doing cybersecurity in 5 years. But I'll at that point, I'm hoping to be slowly transitioning out of 9 to 5 work and doing some more like cross country comedy type stuff. But um, it could be as much as 10 years really before I am full-time comedy, but um, 5 years going to be at a higher level in comedy. I'll probably be doing, some headlining stuff. I'll probably be traveling a lot more, but not to the point where I will have quit my job.
Right, right. Okay. Before I let you go, do you have a final message for the fans?
Yeah, I do. If you give me a second to take my water there.
Okay.
Um, Final message for the fans. Honestly, I got to give you another cliche answer. Just stay tuned for what's next. Even if I'm not on the show again, I've certainly got a lot of things going on that are pretty cool and going on in my life. So I think some hardcore fans will be interested in the things that come from the next few years. So just be on the lookout for some cool stuff.
Cool. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm
Yeah,
so
thank you, Mary. It's
happy.
good talking to you. Finally.
Finally, finally, we've been trying to do this for a bit,
And
but
it's entirely my fault, everyone. It's my fault.
I had to tie him down, you guys. He's so busy.
I know, really. I
Yeah,
am.
you
I
are. No,
hate.
seriously, you are.
I know. I hate to use that. Everyone's so busy, but I'm really actually so busy.
No,
It's
no, he is really
so
busy,
sorry.
you guys. So I really appreciate this. Thank you so much, Clayton. Thank you,
All right.
everybody.
Thank you so much, Mary. Good talking to you.
And see you next time. Bye,
Yep. See you.
everybody.
Bye.